Hat be continued shortly. Say, by the way, you may feel on top of the world. One of the many things that give you that tip-top feeling is the pleasure of Adam Hat. Now, Adam Hat be continued.
My beard was agitating me, so I just shaved it. And then my hair started tickling my neck, and that started agitating me. And it took a. What did it take? It took noticeable. My beard was agitating me, so I had to shave. And as I was shaving, my hair started tickling my neck and agitating me. And it actually took a noticeable amount of willpower for me to not turn those buzzards upwards and fuck, this is inherently going to be a difficult episode. Alright, we can do this though. If I stay within the main frame, if I don't cut in and out, I can do this. My beard was agitating me, so I needed to shave it. And as I was shaving, my hair started tickling my neck and my face, and it actually took a noticeable amount of willpower for me to not turn those buzzers upwards and start shaving off all this long, luscious, golden, beautiful hair that I've been working on for the last, how long has it been? Maybe 9 months now, maybe a year. I have like a 3 month gap where I'm not sure if that's when I shaved my head or if it was that. I'm not sure if I shaved my head on my birthday or I'm not sure if I shaved my head at the beginning of September last year. So I'm going with on my birthday and I'm trying to just let it ride. I want to see what my hair looks like after a year. But I also don't like how the long hair looks without a beard. So I was like, I want to shave it off. I don't like it. And I was like, no, man, chill, stop it. So I took a shower. But after my shower, I looked at the outfit that I had picked out, and my mental state from when I had picked it out to when I had looked at it after the shower had changed. And I had known, man, I am not gonna like how this outfit is gonna feel against my moist skin. It's gonna drive me fucking bonkers. It's gonna agitate the shit out of me. So then I had to go and pick out a whole new outfit so I wouldn't be agitated. And then I'm trying to think, and I can't come up with a topic of this week's episode because I'm so fucking agitated. And a light bulb went off. Oh my god, it's right there in front of me. It's blaring right into my face. I should just do this week's episode on agitation. Instead of shuffling all these things off to the shadows and just like, I'll deal with it and bottling it up, I should start shining the light and looking through all of these different kinds of things that are agitating me and asking, well, why is it agitating me? So I can try and get to the crux, the real root of the issue of what's agitating me. So maybe moving forward, I can be a less agitated individual moving forward. I always say I'm a very quick to anger, very angry individual. But I think it's because the distinction between angry and agitated have never really been clearly made to me. And a lot of things would agitate me, but then things would happen that it always, progressed into full blown anger. And living a life all like that for so long, you can understand how maybe somebody would even come up with the question, well, what is the difference between anger and agitation? Because they're always hand in hand. They're always the same thing, aren't they? But how you handle agitation leads to more or less anger. So if you're like super pissed off because something happened, I'm not even giving an example because I don't want to manifest anything that pisses me off. Because, I've been in it lately. But something pisses you off. And I, I feel like I have to actually provide an example, or else it's not going to make sense. Say, like, your cat pisses you off. Great example. Cats are really agitating. Your cat is like, you're just waking up in the morning and the cat is like pawing at the ticklish spot on your foot. And that's agitating. And it's annoying. And you wake up and you're like, what the fuck is that? That is so annoying. Oh my God, make it stop. I hate this. And the more that you go, make it stop, I hate this, I just want to go back to bed. And the more that you focus on like, oh, I need better words for everything. That has been a theme with me lately with myself, is that I just need better words. See what I say about manifesting, because I'm like, I didn't want to manifest something. And then now the cat is like, she's scratching at something. But like, cat has to go to the bathroom. I can't be angry that the cat has to go to the bathroom, and she's so polite enough that she will cover up her turd so it's not smelly. That's a really cool thing that cats naturally and innately do. And if I didn't shine the light on it, if I didn't point it out right now, it would be something in the background that would be agitating for me, that I'd keep having to push through. And right now, I'm trying to like explain agitation without getting agitated, which is a very difficult task. But I like the challenge. It's actually providing a great like mental challenge for my brain to try and learn how to control emotions a little bit better. But if I didn't shine the light on, the cat making noise and stuff like that, it would annoy me. And she just did a little like beep beep there, hello, hello. Now she wants to be part of the podcast because I'm including her. She can be part of it. I'm pointing it out, and there she is, and it expands, it evolves, and it grows. But if I kept that thought in my head of, man, fucking cat, stop scratching, man, cat, stop tickling my foot, then I never get to, well, what it is at the core of the problem. What is at the root of it? Why is she tickling my foot? She's hungry, dude. Wake up. It's feeding time, buddy. Get up. Feet on the ground. It's time to feed me. She can't talk. She can't go into the bathroom. I can't tell her, hey, I'm going to record a podcast now. Do you mind being quiet? I can tell her that, but she's a cat. And anything that she does, it just has to be understandable that that's what cats do. And I can't get angry at it, although it may be agitating. And how I handle the agitation of, well, she's going to keep like scratching at my foot. Okay, get up and feed her. She's fed. I go back to bed. And since she's fed, she's happy. Maybe she was up for a while before I even woke up. So maybe she's already sleepy again. She's fed. She's fat and happy. She comes and she lays down with me and she sleeps with me now. What could have been, a super agitating and annoying morning for both of us, because it's agitating not getting fed, turned into, oh, thank you for feeding me. I'm going to come snuggle with you now. The agitation completely went away and turned into a better memory, theoretically, of something more. And right now it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? She just ate. I waited for her to finish eating so I wouldn't be, having her eating in the background. I didn't expect her to use the restroom for a little while. I expected her to actually wind down because it's wind down time. But she's got her little ball out. Am I going to let this agitate me and distract me from my podcast on agitation? Or am I just going to use it as a great, right there, real life example, a great learning curve right there in front of me? But it's easy with the cat because the cat is so fucking cute and she's so adorable and she gives me kisses and I give her kisses and she smells like sweet sugar cinnamon and it's fucking awesome. I don't understand why her like scent glands smell so fucking good, bro. I've had cats that smell like outdoorsy, like foresty. I've never had one that straight up smells like a cupcake. And it's little things about this cat that just like drive me crazy with like love and affection and happiness that let me take the brunt of those little agitations because I'm so happy to have her here. And I guess love is perhaps maybe the true remedy to agitation, anger, or any true ill feeling at all. If you have like a sad feeling, love always makes that better, doesn't it? If you have a mad feeling, doesn't you don't think that love would make you happy or at least content if you're really mad, but sometimes it does. It has that ability to. But that's a really simple thing to say. Well, love is the cure. Well, how? Going back to the cat again, great example. Sometimes cats, like, they will bother you for attention, and then as soon as you give them the attention, they don't want it no more. They're done with you. They want to be as far away from you as possible, just because you're paying attention to them. And sometimes it's just the mere fact that you're not paying attention to them. You're doing your own thing. The cat's like, I don't like that. And sometimes people are like cats, and they try and get in there and try and like add to whatever it is that's going on so they can be, the center of attention, maybe, or whatever have you with going on over there. I don't know. My problem too is I'm trying not to wonder too much what the fuck is wrong with people, because I noticed the more I experience some people's fucked upness, this is where I need better words. But fucked upness is a very broad category that I think is good. But the more I wonder about these people's fucked upness, the more I start to realize I subconsciously internalize that and then somehow make myself experience their perspective so that I could further understand it. And I'm at a point where I understand enough perspectives, dude. I want to stop absorbing people's fucked upness so I can understand it further. Some people are just fucked up, and I want that shit over there, and I don't want to deal with it at all. Like, whoever's fucking breaking into that car right now, that's over there. But that's one of those things that's agitating because fucking my car window got broken into, so it makes me paranoid. I want to jump up and be like, is that my car? Who is that? Is this somebody who's just acting like a cat who just pressed the button from their window because they can hear me talking? You never know. And I don't like it when things like stop when I reach a statement, because then it's like that's a schizophrenia spike right there. I said it out loud and I finished the statement. It stopped. But that is the average amount of time that somebody would need to go turn off their blinker if somebody drove by. But I don't understand why it just decided to go off now. And then see where I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to understand that. That brings in an experience of, well, Maybe I leave my car parked out on the street and then somebody fucking throws a firecracker at it, so then the fucking alarm goes off. I don't want to pull in any more experiences like that because that is agitating. But trying to deflect all of these experiences is also agitating. It makes you feel very, very, very schizophrenic. Like, um, the other day, a bunch of fireworks started going off, and I was like, um, my mom asked why are there fireworks going off, and I was like, it's a deep state ploy to agitate people so they can never get any rest because there's always fireworks going off. And then they all stopped right after I said that. But then a few days later, I found out, oh, the Dodgers won the World Series. That's why there were so many fireworks going off. But I don't have those opportunities to feel insane unless I say the insane thing. And then I realized, oh, wow, there may be some truth to that insane thing, but that was totally off base. It was literally just because there was something to celebrate, and that's why there was fireworks going off. And that's how conclusions and like all of these psy-ops and conspiracy theories, those things can be agitating as fuck because in a way they're designed to spin up your mind so you don't trust anybody around you, because whether it was released propaganda or maybe just the person who wrote it is living a very sad life where they don't trust anybody around them, whether that be because of mental deficiency or because they just really are living in a scenario where like they discovered the cure to cancer or some shit and they literally can't trust anybody around them. But constantly living in that state, that is agitating. But I'm always wondering these insane things. And if I never say them out loud, if I'm never wrong, then that allows these insane kind of thoughts to continue living on inside of my head. And that is agitating. So I would rather say something totally out of pocket and be proved wrong than keep wondering about that thought and have it bouncing around in my head constantly until it becomes the only thing that I think about. Because even if, see, this is going to get psyopy, this is going to get paranoid, but even if our phones are listening to us, me just saying that totally out of pocket shit like it's a psyop because they never want anybody to get any rest, so they're flooding neighborhoods with fireworks. If I say that out of pocket shit out loud to somebody, my phone can hear that and then it can feed me an article about the LA Dodgers winning the World Series. And then I can be like, oh, because I am nowhere near the sports world. So then it feeds me that information. So I know, okay, that's why people were celebrating. That's why people were setting off fireworks. Oh my God, it all makes sense now. And it's just, I just came to that conclusion with saying that crazy thing the other day. If I just keep all of these like totally out of pocket things inside of my head, it's going to continue to be agitating because I'm never giving people or the universe the opportunity to prove me wrong, to show me, oh, you shouldn't be thinking that way. Oh, that's a different thought. Think this way. And I've been kind of I think, wrapped up in avoiding something that I allowed agitation to take root, a seed of agitation. And that seed ended up growing into a thorny rose bush. And that rose bush, or a rose bush is good because a lot of people know about rose bushes, but those sticky bushes, burdock bushes, I think is what they're called. They have those big broad leaves, and in the fall time, their flowers like turn to these sticky things and they stick to your clothes. And it feels like that seed that took root was a burdock seed. Now that it is finally sprouted, um, those thorns on the rose bush, those sticky things, are hooking into everything. They're sticking into everything. And every little thing is starting to agitate me. Every little thing is a psyop. Every fucking thing is a conspiracy theory. Everything is some fucking thing wrapped up inside of another thing, wrapped up inside of another thing. And as each of these layers get painted on, I'm starting to feel like the Mona Lisa, wearing just like 1,000 years of grime, covering up what is truly beautiful underneath. And we're going to restore that right now. We're going to go through a restoration process. There will be no more arguing whether or not the Mona Lisa has eyebrows, because we're just going to clean it up and figure it out once and for all. You know, what is agitating Adam? What is eating Adam's grape? What is eating Gilbert's grape? I said that to myself earlier and I fucking laughed so hard. But saying it out loud sounds silly. And that's how, like, some thoughts, like, they can sound really good inside of your head. But as soon as you say it out loud, you're like, oh, dude, that is disharmonious with the universe. that shit is not copacetic. That is not right. But if, like, you're worried about being proven wrong, then anything that could prove you wrong is an agitation. That's like something that could agitate you. Thinking about it, I've always been an agitated individual. Little things would agitate me. And instead of getting to figure it out in the moment back then when things were agitating me, people around me, like my parents or my siblings, wanted to be the source of the agitation rather than help me through the agitation. Or maybe they themselves don't really know how to handle agitation until it turns into a full-on anger outburst. So their way of helping was agitating me until I freaked out, and then I would talk about what was really agitating me. But fuck, dude, that sounds pretty fucked up. Just talking about it, pissing somebody off until they blow up so that they talk to you about what they're pissed off about, rather than letting them figure out what they're pissed off about and maybe not even needing to come to you because they could figure it out themselves. That is a hamper. That was a hamper, I believe, to my development. And I don't think it was anybody's fault. I always feel like doing this podcast, I'm walking like a very thin line between insulting people. I never was like that before. I need to fucking give that up. That is agitating. I need to stop giving a fuck. I started giving a fuck. I don't know what happened. I need to stop. If you've listened to this before, you're like, he gave a fuck? Yes, to some degree, I kind of did, but trying to give too much of a fuck is agitating. I used to do these, like, video diaries on my computer when I had my own apartment. I had this whole, like, video diary set up, and I would fucking bash people that were pissing me off all week long. I'd be dropping fucking boiling hot tea all over the fucking place. But that shit was cathartic. And it fucking helped. It helped me get through some really agitating and irritating shit without blowing up on people. And the thing that's always, like, bothered me, going all the way back to a little kid, is when something agitated me, I always wanted to try and understand why it agitated me so that it could not agitate me in the future. And that was my expectation. But when the thing happened again and it agitated me again, that made me even more upset and agitated because it was like I thought I understood this.
Why does my body choose to react to stimulus in this way? What is the agitation?
That helped me learn that some things are just inherently agitating scenarios, but it also helped me learn that sometimes expectations in and of themselves are agitating. That's been something I've been trying to work on lately, is just having no expectations. For some reason, I somehow ended up building up expectations for I don't even know what I'm expecting. I just have this feeling of expecting. And I need to chill on that. I need to not give a fuck. What am I expecting? I need to actually realize, like, what is it that I'm expecting? And it's nothing, really. As soon as I say nothing, I'm not expecting anything. It's like taking a break at work. Okay, I'm not expected anywhere. Nothing's expected of me. I'm not expecting anything. Cool. Pressure's off. But if you're always expecting this conversation to turn out this way and this to happen that way, and I'm expecting my cat to go to sleep, and I'm expecting, people to be quiet at 3 a.m, those things agitate you when they don't turn out to your expectations. When something happens and your cat is suddenly crazy mode, or you have like one of the loudest mufflers in the world drive down your street at 3 a.m, that's agitating because it goes against expectations. Even right now, like trying to record, I'm trying to like expect the next word, expect the next interruption, expect what it is. I'm trying to speculate what it is that I'm going to say next. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm just trying to get into a flow state so I can get on a roll, so I can end up getting somewhere. Like I said earlier, sometimes my subconscious, like, I'll wonder about somebody, like how they got to that situation or whatever. And I'll end up experiencing that myself. I like subconsciously pull in the variables to create the exact kind of type scenario fit for me to experience that, like emotional state and problem at the same time. And the same kind of like subconscious ruling the day, like figuring shit out rules still apply to when I'm recording these conversations. Sometimes I get to conclusions that I didn't even know that I could get to at the beginning of the podcast. And it's like I know the answers are somewhere in there. I just have to talk them out. I just gotta organize them out and make it logical. And as I'm making it logical, it all starts to flow together. And suddenly I got to somewhere that I have no idea how I got there. But it's agitating trying to hop into that flow state. I've been trying to come up with little hacks to try and make it easier. I'm going to readjust right now. I've been readjusting. My couch has been making noise and it's annoying me, and I keep having to stop, and that is preventing the flow state. So I'm moving. I'm readjusting. Was the perfect time too, because you hear that? No, you don't, because they drove away now. One of my little hacks you're experiencing right now. Take a deep breath. That's a good hack for like any kind of anything. Agitation, emotion, trying to get into the flow state. Just take a big deep breath. For some reason, I'm like scared to take a deep breath on the podcast because it is agitating to me when I listen to things and I hear people taking deep breaths. What are you, not a robot? You need to fucking breathe? How dare you? That was one of those things that I just I didn't know that it was just like an inherent agitation that came with talking. That sounds kind of silly, but it's like an inherent part of performance is that breath is sometimes used to denote things, but people are considerate of how long lines are based upon how much breath a person has. Breath is something that happens. It's breathing. Trying to hide my breathing, that's agitating. Trying to hide humanity, that's agitating. Why am I trying to hide humanity? Oh, maybe that's one of those things that's been adding to my agitation lately. Maybe I'm trying to be more than human, and I think maybe I just don't have a clear understanding of what is the barriers of a human. Like, what is it that a human can do? And something like, talking for an hour, that seems super duper duper easy. But it took me a while to not be completely like zonked out the next day. But I'm always usually a little bit more tired after I do a podcast. And I've had a couple of guests on, and they say the same thing. They're like, yeah, for some reason, that conversation, even though I've had longer conversations before, I ended up getting really tired afterwards. It's like an energy thing, or maybe your brain is at like, because it's recording, it's in a different mental state because there's like some kind of fear or agitation around a recording. And that goes back into what I was saying a second ago. Trick number 2. We have number 1, take a deep breath, and number 2, fuck, dude. I forgot. That's agitating too. So, I guess number 2 should just be accepting that you're human and sometimes you forget things and shit sucks and you're not always going to be perfect. I think I already said that. And I don't want to stop it, but not stopping it is agitating me more. Ugh. I was gonna cut it up and everything, but I listened to it and I was like, you know what? I actually have a good point though. So I think I'm gonna keep it with trick number 2 is being human, and this is part of me showing that I'm human. I was expecting to say this a different way. That goes back into expectations. I had it scripted out in my head, but as it's coming out of my mouth, it's sounding differently. Oh, yeah, what the fuck is that? But this is part of showing humanity. I'm trying to just do it straight through. I'm trying to do as minimal cuts as possible because I just want to get into that flow state, man. That was like the goal because it's really agitating, always trying to get into that flow state. But like, I'm human. That is part of, being human is sometimes like the innate triggers to get into the flow state where being agitating, because like, what is the flow state really used for in nature besides like picking berries, fucking hunting deer, figuring shit out? But we're not picking berries. So to try and enter the flow state without having the drive and the agitation of being so hungry that you're going to go pick 500 berries, it's kind of a cognitive dissonance. And I think as humans, we deal with a lot of cognitive dissonance between humanity and animal and civilization, maybe. Because we see animals have civilizations like bees, and we have civilizations, but we don't really think of bees as smart enough to be like having cities and shit like that. But maybe they do. Maybe like there's bee Minneapolis, and some bee from bee Minneapolis flies to bee Kansas. And and everybody's like, well, where are you from? And he's like, I'm from bee Minneapolis. And they're like, oh, cool. Maybe they have like a whole network that spans the entire globe that they can all send information through and communicate. And we just don't really give them credit because we're like, huh, dumb animal. But it's like, we're also like dumb animals. So trying to distinguish ourselves from animals ends up agitating us a little bit more. We are animals, except that we're like maybe one step above like a house cat in intelligence. Maybe. I don't even know if that is correct because some house cats are smart. But like knowing that we all kind of have the same thing, that's that same inner voice inside of us driving us, kind of helps you get rid of that agitation sometimes, because you'll start judging yourself because you'll be like, I'm so different from everybody else. Even though I just said we all have that same voice, we all experience it differently. And that's the beauty in it. But if you never let yourself experience that, you don't see the beauty in it because you're always agitated about how you're different. You don't see how you're different might actually be your best quality. So when I forget things, when I'm a little bit stupid, when things start to annoy me, I try to remind myself, dude, you're only human. You know, humans have fucked up in way worse ways. And you know what? You're probably not the first one to fuck up in this way. That was a really comforting thought to me, too, at one point. You're not the first person to fuck up like this, buddy. And you're definitely not going to be the last person to fuck up like this. Sometimes you want to be like the last person to fuck up like that, but that's part of being human. Everybody has to go through their own journey of growing, changing, and evolving. And to try and control others' journey is agitating because, dude, it's hard enough to control your own journey. You can't even say the words that you're thinking out loud properly. Because I just thought the word correctly and it came out properly. Great example right there. I wish sometimes, like I say, I wish, like, you know, people could see inside my head and listen to something at the same time so they could experience both. But what I was just saying a second ago, we're probably already doing that. We're probably already sharing the same thing, and anybody who like sees this, we're probably gonna fucking link up in the spirit world, and we're gonna experience this exact moment in like complete synchronicity and like dual. Like we'll both be experiencing the same moment in different locations at the same time, but consciously aware of it in the spirit realm. And when we see each other, we'll have that knowledge of that is what happened, and that's the way it was. Or maybe so. That is my belief. And you gotta not keep your beliefs so solid, because that's an expectation, and that leads to agitation. And that doesn't lead into number 3. But number 3 is a little trick for helping me with agitation during podcasting. Is I'll just let it rip, bro. I'll just record, and sometimes I'll just record silence, because the act of hitting record and hitting play is a little bit agitating, because it adds kind of like a false weight to it, because it's like, oh, I gotta get this take right. So that's why I start, oh my God, all my words gotta be correct. I start tripping over myself because of how right it needs to be, how perfect it needs to be, instead of just being. Um, and with something like this, it's weird because I have the capacity and the ability to edit. I could, if I wanted to, edit out all the nonsense that I don't like, and I could make it almost exactly what I hear inside of my head. But is that being authentically me? If I go through all of that editing and everything. And for stuff like music, the editing makes more sense because you need to edit music. And, maybe chopping up one take here and another take there, that makes sense because you're like crafting, you're building something. But here, it is like crafting, it is like building, but it's more so supposed to just be a conversation. And in real life, I can't pause the conversation, go back and delete what I just said because I didn't like the way that the background noise sounded. In real life, I can't redact what I just said. I can correct myself, but what is said, and there's like no going back. And I wanted this to be a facsimile of a conversation. But all of that editing and everything, that is agitating. And that is what this episode is about, but that's not what we're trying to do during this episode. It's weird. I do these, like, sometimes I'll record like an hour before I record the actual podcast, and that's just me like getting the jitters out, talking fucking schmack, just fucking making up nonsense. Sometimes I come up with like good, like really funny shit that like I'll listen to it over and over. I'll find it again later, and it still makes me laugh. It's just like, how did I come up with that during such a bullshit fest? And sometimes some of the bullshit fests are fun. It's just a whole fun escapade. And that was kind of born out of me trying to, avoid the agitation and the expectation of beginning. I'll just begin, and I'll, cut it once I actually start the scripted part. But here's me, going through all of the agitating stuff that always happens at the beginning of recording. And right now, this is kind of weird because for me personally, I'm trying to like do one of those pre-show fucking bullshit fests, but I'm actually trying to like incorporate substance and actually like have it be thought provoking, like a thought provoking kind of like conversation to make you think about shit. And I kind of like try to walk the barrier between like entertaining nonsense and like thought provoking bullshit. But it's weird trying to do it on purpose. It's like, and then trying to capture it. Like, if I compared the energy of this podcast of me talking about agitation and like trying not to be agitated and trying to like encapsulate the chillness that I garner through doing those pre-show ones, and I was gonna compare the energy of that episode to one of the pre-show episodes. To me, they sound different. If I posted them, maybe others would see the difference and be like, "Wow, that's why did you post this?" Or maybe there is no difference. And it's just kind of like the same thing. But right now I feel like there is a difference. And I feel like since I know that I'm going to be posting this, I'm watching every word I say and I'm not really being myself. And that's agitating. I don't like that. Whereas in the pre show ones, sometimes I say stuff and I start thinking, maybe I'll post this one. But ultimately, in my heart of hearts, I know that I probably won't. So I just keep going and I keep pushing it further and further and I keep getting just crazier and crazier. Um, but just going for it, I guess, would be number 3. Just going for it, just like Nike says. Just like instead of thinking about starting, you're just going to get more and more agitated thinking about all of these other different reasons that why it's going to be difficult. Just start and let the reasons, hit you in the face as they come. Analogies. Anyways. It's hard not to laugh at your own jokes, man. Especially when you're so fucking funny like me. Like, I'm hilarious. No, I'm my own best friend. So I can say things that make me laugh. But, like, most of the time, they're usually not. I don't know if it lands. I was hitting a stride there where my particular form of comedy was, like, always landing. But I don't know, I've been kind of wobbly lately. Just not really hitting my marks in the way that I want to. And it's kind of agitating. That's why I really wanted to do this episode. Because, like I said a second ago, I don't really feel like I'm fully being myself in all totality lately. Right now, in the podcast, like when I go to the supermarket, when I go to anywhere. And I'm kind of confused about what myself was. And I keep going back and thinking about like the things that I did and the qualities that I had and how might I have changed. And I'm noticing like I always wanted to avoid being agitated. And then things just kept coming and they just kept agitating me. And I finally kind of like reached a point where I just decided I'm going to take a break for just a quick break for a minute. And I took a break. And I'm realizing now, after the break is over, that all of those skills that I garnered, all that strength that I built towards like dealing with agitation, I like forgot about the skills. The strength like atrophied away. And it was just because I haven't been using it. Like it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I guess maybe my brain, since I haven't been in these like agitating scenarios, it's been like dropping down the bar for what is agitating. Because it's still using agitation as a drive. I think agitation is like a very primal drive that we have, much like pain. Pain is a stimulus to like make you pull back from whatever it is that's causing pain. And agitation must be a drive towards action. But I don't like that. I don't like being motivated by being agitated. That's bullshit. Fuck that, dude. That is like the fucking worst form of motivation. Agitation, bro. Fucking hate that. Be smarter. Figure out another way. That's what I always tell me. I gotta figure out another way to motivate myself besides fucking agitating myself or getting agitated. I gotta figure out another way. But when you grow up constantly being agitated all the time, you don't ever really get to figure out that way. You just keep telling yourself there is another way. And right now we're trying to really figure out that other way. I figured it out for a bit that there was another way, but I started taking on fucking disrespect. I could not handle that shit. I don't fucking like it. But since I don't like being disrespected, I don't know. I also don't like being disrespectful. So then when I'm out in public and stuff like that and I see a girl with a fat ass, I don't yell, hey, yo, that's a fat fucking ass. I barely even turn around to go look at it because I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm so paranoid towards being disrespectful that it's editing who I am as a person. It's making me not interested in the things that I'm genuinely interested in, whether that be a woman or a billboard. Sometimes I'm like, well, I don't want to stop walking, so I can't stop and read that because this person's walking really close behind me. Fuck that. Just stop walking, dude. Just stop right there in the middle of the sidewalk. And if that person's walking too close to you and they ended up bumping into you, that's their problem. And they created that problem because they weren't paying attention or they were being freaky and weird. And if they're being freaky and weird, that's an opportunity to fucking swing. You gotta start swinging on people that are freaky and weird. No, don't swing on the P. Diddy's of the world. They like that shit, okay? You fucking punch a P. Diddy, they're gonna be like, more. Don't do that. That's wrong. That's how I always have dealt with agitation when it builds up to. It's always a freak out where I'm like, I gotta go punch the punching bag, or I can't fucking handle this. I'm gonna go, I had a fucking stack of shit that I could break. That was my breaking shit. Because I fucking was so mad, I just need to go break something. That's not a healthy way to deal with agitation. But so I developed that as a neural pathway in my brain. And every time I was agitated, I get that urge to just explode. And I noticed this. And so I did a lot of work towards fixing it, towards being better, towards trying to be fucking what always has to happen before I really start being me is I have to reach a point of giving up. I just have to stop giving a fuck. Who cares about the ums? Who cares about the next fucking phrase that I'm gonna say? Who cares about silence within the thing? Who gives a shit? My phone screen keeps turning on. I keep trying to ignore it. My stomach is rumbly and I keep trying to ignore it. Holy shit, this might be applicable towards life less than it is applicable towards agitation. Fuck, towards podcasting. I should stop and eat something. I guess I'm getting fucking stupid. Oh wow. The point of this podcast was to not agitate myself, and I'm spiking right now. This is what I mean. I'm like a very agitated person. Like, dude, sometimes my brain will spike. I'm like, oh no. And I want to keep going because the point of this was agitation, but I was trying so hard not to feel agitation because I knew that this oh no point would come and derail everything. And I wanted to try and put it off for as long as possible so I could be logical. Take a deep breath. Step number 1, take a deep breath. But the more I'm doing this, the more it's like building up towards agitation because I want to stop and I want to go back and I don't like this and I don't like this and I don't like this. But I have to like this because that is the point of this. And maybe, great, we could see me in real time work through my toe cringing spikes of agitation and try and learn how to deal with it. Because I spent a really long time trying to build new neural pathways to learn how to deal with this so I wouldn't break shit all the time. And I guess I haven't been using them, and they got weak, and the stronger pathway has been winning out. So littler shit, smaller and smaller shit has been agitating me. But I need to remember the work that I did, and I need to send electricity and thoughts through those other pathways so that I don't get agitated as much. The problem is, though, that agitation helps me keep focus, and right now I'm super worried about remembering what it is that I just forgot. I just forgot something. And I'm trying to keep my brain moving forward into the flow state. I don't give a fuck about what I just forgot, what I'm trying to remember. I just want to continue the conversation forward. And this is what I do in those pre-show thing every time. It's that point where I give up. So maybe step number 4, sometimes you just gotta give in. I don't remember if that was supposed to be step number 4. Maybe step number 4 is supposed to be a secret that I'm gonna keep to myself forever. And the true step number 4 is my step number 4 that will help me through everything. And I'll just tell you guys to give in because my number 4 benefits from that. And that's paranoia. And that is why it's difficult to deal with all of these thoughts all the time, because you get all of these thought trains that want to run away. And they're agitating you. And you think about how it is that I just had to take a breath and that car that just drove by, and you want to pop out of the moment, and you know that another car is going to drive by, so you say, why do I need to pop out of this moment? I need to always be expecting it. Here we go, back to expectations. It's agitating me, always expecting something to go wrong. So I just got to say, fuck it, it's going to go wrong. And then everything can go left in order for things to go right. But I enter that flow state and I practice it and I do my work, and I guess what I am doing is sending my brain through those pathways that I've been building over time. And by the time I get to the real podcast, my brain is, warmed up revved up those fryers. I'm human though. You know what? I'm gonna go get a popsicle. Maybe this is part of it. Why am I gonna sit here with this agitation? Being hungry. Why am I gonna sit here hiding the fact that I'm hungry and be agitated by it and just sit with it when I could just go get up and eat? This isn't more important than eating. I'm a human. I need fucking food to think. And maybe that's why I'm getting so stupid. The noise of people eating is really agitating me. This is agitating in and of itself. I'm at that point too where I'm like, fuck it. I might just go back and have to restart again, maybe from a cut point or whatever. Yeah, dude, hunger and agitation go fucking hand in hand. You're not you and your hunger. You're not. You gotta not take things so seriously. Maybe that can be another tip towards dealing with agitation. I think I talked about things that agitate me enough. I think we need to start talking about steps to deal with agitation. Now that I've focused so long on learning them, I might as well share them. Not taking shit so seriously. Because, like, why are you getting so fucking serious about shit? You're a monkey in a suit. Why are you so serious? You're literally wearing a fucking noose around your neck. Like, dude, one time I was wearing a tie, got stuck on a doorknob, realized how fleeting and fragile life is, and decided it's not worth it to wear ties anymore. It's not, it's, you know. But I'm human. I get hungry, and I like to eat popsicles. Outshine popsicles are very good. Shout out Outshine. Give me a sponsorship so I can keep buying your popsicles. This feels very weird to me. This is uncomfortable to me. Cat's scratching. She's uncomfortable. It's emanating. I don't like eating on recording. This feels very fucking weird. I did not realize how much confidence and charisma it took to be on Food Network. To always be eating on camera and being recorded eating. I guess appreciation. Yeah, that's a good cure for agitation. You know what, too? Like I said a second ago, this isn't life or death. Like, I'm just recording a podcast. Why am I sitting here fucking starving myself? I just need to get this done. You know what, man? Maybe that's just my signal that it's just done for today. Maybe we're done. Maybe that's listening to my gut. So, you know, we're empty. Tank's empty. That was all the juice that you had for today. I think listening to your body is a great way to deal with agitation. And not avoiding it. Just if you're always trying to ignore it, if you're always trying to avoid it, avoidance breeds agitation. If you need to do something and you're avoiding doing it because it's like agitating to you, or it's like scary, or it's uncomfortable, then every time you think about how you need to do that something, it's gonna agitate you. You're effectively agitating yourself way more than if you just buckled down and did the thing. You could be agitated and scared once and do the thing, or you could keep putting it off and let it keep bothering you. And that's me with like eating right now. I was putting that off and I didn't want to like point it out, and I was just trying to soldier on through. But look at me, I was just driven by agitation to go eat a popsicle because I couldn't think straight anymore. And now that my brain has energy, or at least, you know, it's happy that I fed it, it's rewarding me with neurotransmitters and endorphins and, you know, the ability to think a little bit clearer. I feel like that inner voice I was talking about a second ago, I feel like it's so quiet that, like, agitation, like emotions, like create frequency and noise within your brain. So if you're really emotional, you can't like really hear that noise, and it's so quiet that even something like your tummy gurgling is enough to drown out your own deep inner voice. And I always try to really listen to that inner voice, but like I said, it's so quiet that, it gets drowned out. That can be agitating because you want to always listen to your gut and do what's best for you, but there's this thing happening and that thing happening, and I have FOMO, and there's, so many variables at play that sometimes listening to your gut isn't the most obvious thing in the world because it's not, you don't have that loud, roaring, big red flag that's like, this is the option. Nothing's covered in blinking lights and arrows pointing at it. It's all subtle emotions and feelings that you have to learn over time because each person's inner voice and intuition is unique to them. And that's where it goes back, like, not being yourself can be agitating. When you're not moving in cooperation with how you feel inside, and your outsides are doing stuff that's completely different from how you feel, you get very agitated very quickly that way. That's kind of the point where I'm at right now in this podcast. I think I got around to the root of the issue, and I started kind of, prying out the weeds and pulling out all of the plants that shouldn't be there. But I think I have to listen to that inner voice and say, right now, you know what? I did a lot of work towards figuring out what agitation is, and I did a lot of work towards remembering how to deal with agitation, which is just like taking deep breaths, remembering that you're human, try not thinking about it so much and just going for it, and don't avoid anything. And another helpful thing is to just be truthful. If you don't worry about what the truth is, if you're not questioning the truth and you're just trying to live your best truth, that can save you a lot of agitation. But also, like, kindness, compassion, that can also be a remedy for agitation. And it's good to know when agitation is starting to build into anger and how to disseminate it beforehand. All right, that's it. Keep it easy out there. Peace.